countdown to the last comic shop in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, it is now time for more of the Last Comic Shop podcast.
That's right. We're opening up the shop to newbies to help them find their way underneath this comic book tent, especially when the lights are out.
That's right. We're helping out the oldies, especially the ones that are really, really old. That would have been set in the time this story was set.
I thought we were just talking like Batman. My bad. Is Christian Bale in this podcast? Did I miss it?
I think they just need cough drops, to be honest. They've got a little bit of phlegm or something. Any case, host with the most, Erik Larsen, joined by my two phlegmy co-hosts. That would be Jay, Scott, Chad Smith. I got where they were going. It is Spider-Man Noir this week. They were trying to sound more noir-y. I don't even know if that's a word.
Yeah. Hard-boiled.
Neither eggs nor cream in it.
I feel like Mike Myers. Egg creams have neither eggs nor cream. Disgust.
Oh, Lordy Hannah. One thing we are going to discuss, because we've got Jon Engel from New Dimension Comics here on this week's show, and we love to have him on the show, not only because he's an awesome comic book aficionado, he's also one of those guys that runs an awesome comic book show every year in the great city of Pittsburgh. And so every year we have him on around this time because Three Rivers Con is right around the corner. So we're going to spend the opening segment of today's show before we get to Spider-Man Noir in the second segment talking about Three Rivers Con, which is coming up again very, very soon. So, John, downtown Pittsburgh again, David L. Lawrence Convention Center. This is a huge show for you, right? Like, this is a big deal this year, right?
Yeah, it's our 10th anniversary show. 10th show.
Wow.
Crazy.
A decade.
Whoa. Todd might be decayed. I'm not.
I'm getting a little more decrepit as I age with the knees and whatnot. But yeah, not decayed.
Right.
Yeah.
10 years. Wow. So you've got, I know that this year there's a cake, or there's something about a cake. Is there, like, instead of the art, you want to explain that? Because normally you have like cool art, which is cool, but you have this cake this year as like the poster or the artwork.
Yeah.
Tell us about the cake.
Last year it was Godzilla smashing. This year it's a smash cake, it looks like.
So, first off, it was a real cake, for sure. And it was real delicious. My diabetes told me. But, so this year, we couldn't quite figure out what we wanted to do for art for it, because we were like, do we want to do a jam piece? Do we want to do something else? And by the time we kind of fustered around with it, we were like, well, we need something to print now. Like, we need to get this thing to the printer. So I said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go out. I went to Sam's Club and I had them make a cake for me. Best $20 I ever spent. It was double chocolate with buttercream icing. Mwah. Super good. It was so delicious. I took like 70 photos of it in different angles so that I could get the right one I wanted. And then we ate it. Me, Scott, Justin, and a couple of guys at the Mills ate the cake. It was delicious. I'm really excited about it. I just got to see the beer label not too long ago, so I know what that's going to look like, and I'm super excited about that. We're just, at this point, we are just waiting on some approval to spoil that to people.
Not the beer, the label.
Correct.
Right.
The beer actually doesn't really spoil, to be honest. It's a stout. It just gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And
that was what I was curious about. Can you at least spoil the beer flavor this year? What do we got this year?
It is a coffee bourbon stout. Coffee bourbon barrel-aged stout.
Ooh.
Barrels of Buffalo Trace bourbon, and then the coffee is a place up in Buffalo. But Shoe Brew's making it again. Ali Garza's doing the label, and it's going to be awesome. That's all I can tell you.
Very cool.
So
Very cool.
Go to the website to see it.
That's right. You do have to go to the website to see it. Although I think for those folks that are going, on Friday night, you're going to have like the big to-do, like to unveil it, or the first time that you can have it, correct?
Correct. So Friday night, it's usually around 7 or 8 in Bill's Burgers in the Westin. We're going to have the beer release party, so Ali will be there signing can labels. You'll be able to buy some beer You'll be able to buy beers from the years before, but that'll be very limited if you missed one. I don't know if we're going to have it on tap this year. We have in the last couple of years. But yeah, you can go over there, and we're usually there till about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And that's kind of like the pre-show hangout thing. So there'll be other artists there, there'll be creators, there'll be staff, there'll be other fans. And then Saturday night after the show's over at 7, we have our drink and draw run by Sammy Castillo, and that'll be in the same place. You'll be able to get a second chance to buy some more beer and meet Allie and get it signed and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. It's killer art. I'm so excited about the property. And Allie's great. He's actually doing a Pittsburgh Steeler version of Supergirl on a Supergirl variant cover. Kind of like how he did the Harley Quinn one last year. He's doing the Supergirl this year where she'll be in black and gold. So it's almost like the alternate Earth bad one.
Oh, yeah.
Except with gold.
Black and silver.
Except black and gold this time. So it'll be really cool. I've seen the pencils for it. I haven't seen the finished art yet on that one.
That sounds awesome, dude. And listen, the beer is great, but the real deliciousness for comic book nerds like me is the show itself. It's one of the best comic book centric shows in the land. You guys have tons of vendors coming in. I always am able to find great deals. That back issue I've been looking for. You know, Andy and I are always fighting over, I saw that on the wall first. I saw it first. Rock, paper, scissors to get our stuff. But you have a ton of great artists coming, like Ali Garza. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the other guests that are going to be there for this comic extravaganza?
So we have guys that have been here since the beginning, like Dave Nessler and Don Simpson. We have guys who have come in for multiple appearances, like Dan Mendoza and George Roderick Jr. and Howard Bender. And then we have new guys like Ethan Young, who does a lot of DC variants right now. He also does some Archie stuff too. He did these really great variants that are very Eisner-y, where like the title is like in the building behind them.
Oh, I love that.
He has a new book called Demon Run coming out. I think you can still Kickstarter it. It's really good. He should have it at the show. Glenn Whitmore, who colored Death of Superman, is coming. He also colored a lot of stuff that Ron Friends worked on. Howard Mackey, who will only be there Saturday all day and then Sunday till 2, but he created Danny Ketch, the second Ghost Rider. He worked on Amazing Spider-Man, he worked on regular Spider-Man, X-Men, X-Factor, Mutant X. He did the first miniseries of Gambit with Lee Weeks, some Wolverines, Batman. Jeremy Clark, who's done a ton of crazy, awesome variants, a lot of them Ninja Turtles. He's coming out of LA. Joe Pruitt's coming for the first time. He did Negative Burn. He's doing Viking Moon currently. He did Black Eye Kids. He was also one of the guys that ran Aftershock. Joe Schmalke is coming back. He hasn't been back in a while. Joe Woos will be there. Keith Williams, who is another great inker. He worked with Pat Olive on his Hawkman, but he's done a lot of stuff. He did Quasar, Infinity War, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, New Warriors, Alpha Flight, all kinds of stuff. Amazing Spider-Man. So if you're an Amazing Spider-Man fan, we got you covered, just so you know. Mark Morales is coming back. He inked a lot of great stuff for Marvel and DC, including Avengers. I actually have 2 pages from the DC Nightmares Poison Ivy that he did that I bought from last time he was here. Matt Horak is coming back. Nicole Jelinek, who did Dynamite variants, but she also did the art for Midnight Rose with Jim Starlin for Aftershock. It was like a prestige, almost original graphic novel prestige book. Pat Olive, Ron Friends, like the legendary local guys. You can't
and they're
go
both
wrong.
Such awesome dudes. So fun to talk to all the time.
Scott Check, Salatoro, Sean Gabarin, Sora's coming back, and she's crushing it with some Vampirella covers right now and some Lady Death stuff. Tom Scioli will be there. Trish Forstner, I always say her name wrong, it's Forstner, who worked with Tony Fleecs, who we were talking about before, on Feral and Stray Dogs. She also worked with My Little Pony and a bunch of Disney stuff. Vito, he's coming. And then Wayne Foucher, who is a legendary inker. Recently, he's done Star Wars and Fantastic Four. He's done Detective, Batman. He did Impulse for a long time. Spectacular Spider-Man for a long time, some Catwoman stuff. It's a pretty loaded guest list. And then we have like 5 or 6 guys from Source Point Press coming, kind of on like a rebrand and relaunch since they almost completely went under. So that'll be kind of cool. And then we have some cool cosplay guests and cosplay groups coming, and you'll be able to do lightsaber training again if you want to learn how to wield correctly. Yeah.
I have to polish my kyber crystals and get them ready.
Do you have to take out special insurance in case you cut off somebody's hand?
I'm pretty sure it's covered under the terrorist insurance, but I think we'll be okay. So, as long as they cut it off in that one square they get, they'll be fine.
There you go. It's an amazing guest list. And to be honest, we've talked with so many of those folks on past episodes of The Last Comic Shop. So again, as we lead up to this week's event at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center, Three Rivers Con, 10 years, make sure that you're checking out Last Comic Shop. Again, we're going to be posting all of our shows that we've done, interviews from the con floor. We're hoping to do that again with some awesome talent out there. So again, I'm really, really excited for this talent list, John. Thank you so much for bringing these folks in, because again, not only is it to keep the lights on here, but it's just amazing to be able to talk to some of these folks. They always end up having good stories.
The crazy part about doing this thing for 10 years, not only are these guys like just guests at the show, but I can actually call a lot of these guys my friends now, which is really weird, right? Like never in my life did I think, oh, I can call Ron Friends my friend, like actual friend, right? You know, I never thought about like, oh, you know, Pat Olive is my friend until like these last couple years. It's really started to sink in, and you know, and it's opened other doors, you know, because like it's how I really became friends with you guys too. Is, you know, between the show, the podcast, the stores, stuff like that. It's opened so many doors for me to meet new people. That's why we always push our show as the family reunion you want to go to.
Yes.
Well,
because that's what we're about. We're about community.
That's one of the great things about your show is it is a big show. It is an expansive show. But you guys have so much space in the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. It never feels too crowded. And like you actually get a chance to get up close and have real conversations with these creators. Somebody like a Ron Friends, who's been involved in so many great books. And like, he is just a dude, man. He is an awesome dude. He's hilarious. But like, you can sit there and talk to these guys and get to know them, you know, even just from the fan side of the table. It's one of the best parts, one of many of the great parts about that show. And I agree, John. I just saw you the other day on the comics are a community, and these shows are a chance for those communities to get together. I know Free Comic Book Day, we ran into a ton of people. It's like, oh, I know you from this. Oh, I know you from that. Oh, you're that guy from that other podcast. You know, it's just really fun to get out there and see everybody. And so I don't want to undersell the community aspect too. That's also super awesome.
Keep our ticket price low for that reason. Like, Saturday for an adult is $20. I forget what Sunday is. It's like 18, but if you get both days, it's $30. And for the first time ever, we're doing a military discount. So if you have an active military ID, you can come to you have to buy it at the door though, because we have to validate your ID. We'll give you $10 off that ticket specifically for that person because you earned it. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Thank them for their service. Thank you, servicemen and women.
And you'd be surprised how many people go into the service and come out nerds. So
they've got a lot of time to just hang out and read.
Exactly. They do need to have something to read. They do read comic books in the barracks. I know for a fact. My brother was in the service, and he read a lot of comic books during his downtime.
Or they learn to play D&D or Magic or whatever. They get stuck in a cave, and they got to do something for 3 months that doesn't involve electronics.
Well, speaking of, again, not only the community aspects, the artist aspects, let's talk about real fast before we go, the comic aspects. As Chad alluded to, tons and tons of vendors here. That is one of the other great things about Three Rivers Con every single year is you bring in so many folks that are selling comics. It's an opportunity to snag some of those back issues that you've been looking for. Again, there's other shows out there, pop culture, whatever. I mean, that's fine. But this is a comic show. You get to meet comic artists. You get to buy comic books. You get to get comic art. It's amazing if you are a comic fan. Let's just say that. Three Rivers Comic Con. John, tell us the dates that are involved with this. When's that pregame starting? When's that drinking draw going?
June 6th and 7th, 2026, down at David L. Lawrence Convention Center, downtown Pittsburgh. And you can go to threeriverscomiccon.com to get all the information about who's coming. Buy your tickets online if you want to. and beer stuff is Friday and Saturday night. I want to say it's 7 o'clock for both, and Ali Garza's doing the art. And we're going to have swag you can buy, some mold variants we've done over the years. We're going to have some of those. And we're also celebrating New Dimension Comics' 40th anniversary that same weekend.
Wow. Super awesome.
Are you guys going to give Tom a Gatorade shower or something?
We might pour some of those beers on them.
There you go.
Stone Cold Steve Austin style.
Right?
Get some Todd Weisers.
So don't miss out on the Three Rivers Con June 6th and 7th over at the David Earl Lawrence Convention Center. And make sure that you don't miss out on more Last Comic Shop. We've got our Read Pile review right after this commercial break. We're going to be coming back with Spider-Man Noir. John's going to be sticking around for that, so stay tuned.
Hi, it's Carlo Calantuan, and I'm back with another message to save you money. Whether it's comic books, baseball cards, or other memorabilia, use the promo code LCSPOD to get 10% off every order at bcwsupplies.com. Not only does it give you a discount on BCW's already low prices, but using LCSPOD at checkout is an amazing way to support the Last Comic Shop podcast. So if you're in need of collectible supplies, head out to bcwsupplies.com and use the promo code LCSPOD today. And guys, now that you've reviewed Trece, I eagerly await your coverage of Darna.
They're back! This October, get ready for more magic, mayhem, and sibling rivalry. Fantagraphics presents Santo Sisters Volume 2, collecting issues 6 through 10 of the Eisner award-winning comic book series. This deluxe hardcover is packed with the Technicolor chaos you crave. Don't miss out. Grab the sisters' latest adventures this October wherever great books are sold. Santo Sisters Volume 2, twice the magic, double the trouble.
Flash on some Spider-Man Noir, not Darkman Noir or whatever.
Ricard Noir.
It's that time for more of the Last Comic Shop podcast and our Read Pile review, brought to you by bcwsupplies.com. If you need your bags, boards, boxes, all that miscellaneous comic book bric-a-brac, make sure that you're going out to BCW Supplies. Use our promo code LCSPOD at checkout. Save yourself 10%, because then you can take that extra savings and you can go to Three Rivers Con and buy yourself some art or some comic stuff and all kinds of jazz. Or maybe you'll need supplies to, put your stuff in that you bring from Three Rivers Con. So yeah, again, LCSPOD saves you 10% on your comic book supplies over at bcwsupplies.com. In any case, we've got Spider-Man. He puts on a trench coat and a cool mask with goggles, and it's the freshness because Nick Cage is playing him in a show that you can now watch on the Amazon Primes. And so we were decided to do a comic book featuring him. And luckily, Chad's been in my ear for months saying we should read this book because there was this guy with this boil on his head that was actually the bad guy and not the dude.
Named Hardboil. What a hard-boiled villain.
It's Erik Larsen writing. And who else works on this particular project, J.A.?
Well, these 5 issues called Spider-Man Noir, The Gwen Stacy Affair, as you said, was written by Erik Larsen. Andrea Briccardo handled most of the art, but on issue 3 there was a fill-in artist, America Cresta. Colors were handled by Rochelle Rosenberg. VC's Joe Sabino handled letters, and Simone DeMeo was the cover artist on the main cover for all 5 issues.
There were a couple variant covers you could get by Erik Larsen. I don't know about them. I got Erik Larsen's cover of Spider-Man Superman with Cyborg Spider-Man and Cyborg Superman. I thought it was super good. These ones, they were something.
I was picking up a little modern Frank Miller vibes, Larson, on these a little bit.
Yes! It's like he didn't care. It's like he didn't care.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I had to actually second guess myself and go, is this Frank Miller?
Yeah. As someone that likes Frank Miller from a really long time ago and not modern Frank Miller shrugs, I was the same. I was just like, it kind of follows suit. Regardless, one thing that doesn't follow suit, or maybe he puts on a pinstripe suit, or maybe he puts on one of those double-breasted suits, is some of the characters in this book Spider-Man Noir, and Chad's going to give us a 10-cent synopsis. What happens? Is Gwen Stacy, is she like that gun mall dame that comes in with the sob story, spinning a yarn, and he's got to drink that?
Yeah, you read the book. It's Noir, baby. It's Noir. So we're in the 1930s, and Peter Parker's a PI who's down on his luck because he's been off hopping around the multiverse. And he came back. Turns out he wasn't paying his rent. And so he's got to get some cashola real quick. Otherwise, he's going to get kicked out of his apartment above the Chinese restaurant. And so in comes in a dame by the name of Gwen Stacy. And she's looking to find the fella that killed her dad. But here's the problem. It was Spider-Man. Dun-dun! And then it turns out that her dad may or may not have been wrapped up in some nefarious affairs. Dun-dun! And there might have been Nazis involved. Dun-dun! And then Spider-Man, a couple of bad guys he runs into, and then he and Gwen Stacy get real close, and then Mary Jane and Aunt May are in this universe, and Mary Jane and Peter Parker have broken up, and she's like, oh, what's going on with this Gwen Stacy lady? He's like, oh, it's complicated. Dun-dun! And then Spider-Man Noir has to save the day, but then he touches him, and it takes away his Spider-Man powers. Dun-dun! And then he tells Aunt May and Mary Jane that he lost his Spider-Man powers, but then he gets them back when he needs them. Dun-dun! And the story's over. Dun-dun!
And there's this boil that jumps from head to head.
Yeah,
Yes!
there is.
And there's a Nazi made out of cockroaches. That was real gross. Just a suit full of cockroaches that all talked, and he had to use a flamethrower on them. That was cool. We're going to get the initial thoughts from our guest, John. And so, John, when I first told you that you were going to read some Spider-Man Noir on this show, first off, you were like, well, can we read some DC instead? And I'm like, no, we want you on here to specifically read some Spider-Man Noir because of the Nick Cage thing. And you were like, fine. Did you enjoy it in the end?
So to be fair, it wasn't, can we read some DC thing? It was, can we read anything else?
I'm sorry, John.
So it's okay. Mostly because like I read his first appearance back in the day, and then I read like the first volume that had come out, but I didn't really love it, and I haven't really loved it since. So this book, I thought the first issue was actually very good, but as soon as the second issue started, it was almost like grabbing at straws the whole time. It wasn't quite linear enough for me as a story. There were too many little things here and there that made me be like, what does this have to do with the story? And then eventually kind of put them together, but it was very weird the way it fell together, in my opinion. I don't know. I think it's because I have such a big love for Dick Tracy that anytime someone does noir and they try to write like that, I always am like, this is like bad Dick Tracy. And that's kind of how I felt about it. It's like Dick Tracy with spider powers. I was also a little annoyed that the very beginning of the book, he's like, Aunt May's mad that I use guns. Oh shit, he accidentally killed someone. Oh, that person was Captain Stacy. Oh, okay, but we're gonna not talk about why I keep using guns the rest of the book. So it's just like, what the hell? And then I'm like, oh, Erik Larsen wrote it. That's why. I love his art. His writing is kind of meh.
Having not read Spider-Man Noir before, I was waiting for him to be a bit more noir-y, a bit darker, a bit, I don't know, more adult. It was like you were throwing teenage Spider-Man in with all of the teenage Spider-Man hang-ups, but he was supposed to be like a private eye, and it was in the 30s, and it was a lot of Dick Tracy stuff going on with the kids thing. I was waiting for one of them to have a watch that they could talk to him.
I mean, the most adult thing he did was be in the tub with Gwen Stacy. That was literally
Oh, yeah. At least juggle a couple girls. I mean, that's...
Yeah, there were some allusions to it, but it was weird.
Plus the fact that it kind of got away from being a noir book, like after issue 1 with like the mystery and like he's going to the coroner's office, George Stacy on the slab, and then you find out, oh, I was the one that killed him. And you're like, okay, well, the mystery's over. Shrugs, yeah. Like, what are you going to do now? Like, it's issue 1. We have 5 issues left to go. And so they switch from doing that into like him just fighting Nazis, which is fine. I like when Marvel characters fight Nazis. I've been a huge fan of Captain America. I like those stories, but like I couldn't get away from the fact that it reminded me a lot of the Revenge of the Sinister Six. Remember the Revenge of the Sinister Six? Not the Return. That was written by Dave Michelin, but Revenge of the Sinister Six was written just by Erik Larsen. And that was just like, Erik just had a lot of neat ideas that he just wanted to throw in. He's like, we'll throw the Hulk in, and we'll throw Danny Ketch, Ghost Rider in. We'll make Spider-Man a cyborg. We'll do this. We'll do that. We'll just throw it all into a pot, and maybe it'll come out with the plot. Like, we'll put a monster on the Sinister Six. Maybe this will all work out in the end. But I won't lie, I liked it. I loved all of this. I don't know. I loved all this. I love Golden Age stuff. I love Spider-Man using guns and jumping off things and quips and drinking egg creams. I loved all of it. And I guess that's what Chad loved about it too, right?
Yeah, so the initial Spider-Man Noir definitely was more of a darker take. If you've ever read those stories, like, they are more adult.
Why didn't we read that one?
Well, because this one had hard boil, and there's a boil on the guy, and then when he gets shot, it goes to somebody else, and then she becomes hard boil, because the boil just keeps transferring.
Like Rocketeer meets Dick Tracy meets normal Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was. And I want to bring up with John, it was like, it's like bad Dick Tracy. I think all Dick Tracy is bad. That's part of the charm of Dick Tracy. That's a feature, not a bug, is my contention. No offense intended to the Dick Tracy fans out there. What I think Erik Larsen did well, actually, is the stuff that you guys are complaining about, where he mellowed this and brought the levels up so it was more Spider-Man and less Noir. There's more of that fun involved, and he keeps making references to Spider-Ham and talks about pressing the flesh, and then he kicks the guy in the face like, there's flesh for you to press. And like, I like the cheesy jokes and the one-liners, and I'm always a big fan of Peter Parker, the screw-up. The very beginning of the story, it's established like, he's the guy that killed Gwen Stacy's dad. How's he going to work his way out of this? And I also agree with what Andy said with Erik Larsen's stories. He is an idea guy. He has lots of wild, wacky ideas that he throws out there, and some of them land and some of them don't. I was impressed in this particular story that they went with all new villains. They weren't rehashes of, your Spider-Man villains, but just gangsters. Right, like in other Spider-Man Noir stories I've read. Like in this one, you had the Nazi bat guy flying around.
He was cool.
Yeah, we already mentioned hard boil, and the fact that boil goes from one person to another, that's hilarious. I love the gang of street kids, the street toughs, like, we found your hat, mister. And he's like, it's seen better days. That was fun to me. I don't know. I enjoyed the lightening up of all this stuff. But you still had that edge of, this was a Spider-Man with guns fighting Nazis, that are doing all these terrible experiments. They're bringing people back from the dead, and they have guys that are made all out of cockroaches. There is a heart of fun here at play in these stories. And for me, Spider-Man Noir didn't land until Into the Spider-Verse, where you have Nick Cage, playing it over the top, and looking at that Rubik's Cube like, what the hell is this? What are all these colors? That fun ridiculousness of it all, like, that's what I'm here for. So I was a big fan of, yes, this is a softer, closer to Spider-Man-esque storyline, but I like the Jello-looking guy. There's a lot in here that I thought was creative and fun, and things that, if other writers wanted to pick up on this stuff and pick up, what happens to that little girl who gets the gem at the end, like the Chinese restaurant lady's daughter, or that Ghostbuster guy who's like, this guy's just busting ghosts, and like Spider-Man knocks him out and then picks up his glass, like, no shit, there's all kinds of ghosts here. Like,
I think he's supposed to be the trapster.
I love that he's like, I better take this with me. Let's not make anybody else get excited over this.
I think part of it also is the fact that it's in full color.
Yeah,
and if it were just in black and white, it probably would have been better. But I also have this, correct me if I'm wrong, but from his first appearance, I thought he was actually supposed to be a lot older and not have many powers at all. Like, he had one or two of the powers, but he didn't have a lot. But, like, in this book, he seems like he's, like, late 20s maybe, at best.
At best.
Yeah, so I wanted him to be older. I wanted him to feel darker. This is kind of like when somebody writes detective comics, and they make it just another superhero book. The detective comics are supposed to be Batman being a detective, right? Not just regular, normal, super-y stuff. This feels like they just wrote another Spider-Man story that happened to be in the 30s. Like,
yeah, but John, there's 35 different Spider-Men out there. This one's deals, he's in the 30s.
I like the fact that this book did harken back to some of the bonkers stories that you would get in real Golden Age comics, right? Just random villains that would show out of nowhere, and like, we have this statue that we're gonna shove these gems in, and and that's gonna let us take over the world. And you're like, why would that? What? Why? But you don't question it when you read, because again, they had like 5 pages to tell a story.
Because
so they're like,
when there's gems and Nazis involved, you expect Dr. Indiana Jones to be showing up somewhere.
That's true. There was a romanticism to this. And I'm not saying like romance, kissy, huggy, but like a true swashbuckling adventure kind of feel to some of these stories. The plot, yes, fell apart at times, but I kind of liked the general motif, like I was like, ooh, this is just fun candy for me in a 5-part series.
Yeah, the 2 things I want to add before we jump away from this. One, were the little homages in there. Like, you saw the Superman car from Action Comics 1 getting flipped over at one point. I'm pretty sure I saw the Eric Powell's goon is one of the henchmen in here. Mm-hmm. So there was all that kind of fun stuff. But then to the point about the Erik Larsen as a storyteller, I remember the first time I read this, I finished it, and I was like, what the heck? And I had to go online, and Erik Larsen was defending something. He's like, no, we're putting the toothpaste back in the tube. And I'm like, well, then give me a page that says you're putting the toothpaste back in the tube. You didn't say you're putting the toothpaste in the tube. You just went and had toothpaste out of the tube, then it's in the tube.
Time out on that, because I tried to figure out what you were talking about, because like I read it, and I was just like, what is this moment that... Did he just got his powers back? Is that the toothpaste back in the tube, or what was it?
It's the fact that he told Mary Jane and Aunt May that he lost his powers, and then there's this Spider-Man clone going around that was the Nazi doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, somebody else is Spider-Man now. And then he gets his powers back, and he doesn't tell Aunt May and Mary Jane, so they think he's Spider-Man.
More, he uses that bad Spider-Man to say that he's the one who killed Gwen Stacy's dad, so that he doesn't have to say that he killed Gwen Stacy's dad. He just weasels out of it like a weasel.
Look,
that's not Peter Parker, the upstanding. Listen. Great powers comes great responsibility. With great powers comes the ability to lie when it's convenient. I guess that's the more.
Mary Jane knowing that Spider-Man is Spider-Man, that's fine. It was causing a headache with their relationship, so shrugs. But I will say, Aunt May knowing that he's Spider-Man, that never sits well with me. I'm like, no, she should be able to sleep well at night knowing that Peter's not out there shooting people. Because what's going to happen? She's going to hit him over the head with like a frying pan, like in that one scene. He got his powers back, and he had a golden opportunity to pass the buck off on this dead Spider-Man, and also be able to say, yeah, I'm not Spider-Man anymore. It's some other guy. He's doing the stuff now. I'm just normal people. I love it.
I just feel like the art was too bright, and it felt like Larson was trying too hard to write a noir book. Like, it is noir, but it feels like someone trying to write a noir book, not actually writing a noir book. It's not very in the shadow sleuthy vibe. Like, it doesn't get you into the noir vibe, and that's, I think, why I have such a hard time with it.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's all valid for sure.
It wasn't a noir book, and you're right. I mean, Gwen Stacy at no point was like the femme fatale that walks into the office and like saunters up to the desk. She was just like, you're pretty, but you're not like the dangerous dame that's gonna lead me astray down the road of no return.
Although there's one issue where like Gwen Stacy's always like this buttoned up, oh, Mr. Parker, I need your help. And then like in one issue, she just turns into a bombshell. Like, everything unzips a little bit more.
For some reason, I thought that might have been Felicia that walked in. I was like, is this Felicia Hardy? Like, what the hell's going on? Usually there's some kind of twist with the femme fatale, like at the end.
Yeah,
like,
she's usually the
like,
bad
I was
guy.
waiting for her to be like, I killed my own dad. Ha ha ha. Like,
you know what it is? That was the fill-in artist issue.
They brought in that fill-in artist to make her a bombshell, give her a little sex appeal. All right, shake her. Is that where they first hook up? Did they not hook up before that issue? I see how they want. If that's the case, that's why they brought them in.
Yeah, it's the issue before she comes to him is like, I don't want to be alone. And then the next issue comes in.
Right.
Boom.
We're going to get the boom into the commercial break here. We're going to be back with more Last Comic Shop right after this with our grades as well as recommendations. So stay tuned for that.
LastComicShopPodcast.com is the destination for all things shop. Plan your week with upcoming show schedules, the latest books, recommendations, and chatter from the crew. Subscribe to the show on all major podcasting platforms from one convenient location. Show your support and browse the merch store. T-shirts, tanks, hoodies for the fam, coffee mugs, magnets, totes, and more. Check out exclusive content through the show's YouTube channel and follow the pod on Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and others. All this and so much more at www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com. www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com.
Madison is on the air.
What happens when 20-something Madison is zapped into old-time radio shows? No technology.
Why want to go to voicemail?
No Starbucks.
Don't call yourself a coffee shop if you only sell drip coffee.
And no one is PC.
I don't need no lip from...
Were you about to say woman? Because I'm wearing a gun and I have no idea how to use it.
Madison on the Air serves to highlight the way we were and the way we are today with original radio drama scripts adapted to include the modern-day Madison as she joins famous characters from radio's past, including Sergeant Joe Friday.
Just the facts, ma'am. I've never actually said that.
Marshal Matt Dillon.
We're not having a shootout with a 10-year-old kid.
I'm too woke to be a part of this.
Superman.
I didn't realize how cold it would be flying like this.
I have to get into the higher atmosphere.
And many more. Visit us on the web at madisonontheair.com or find us pretty much any place podcasts can be found.
You talk so old-timey. I have no idea what you said, but it's adorbs.
Yeah, you see? Yeah, we're going to give you more Last Comic Shop, you see? And you're going to like it. Yeah, we're going to give you ratings, and you're going to like it. Yeah, tough guy, eh? Yeah. Jay Scott's going to give us the 1-4 scale. What do we got this week?
1 out of 4 boils. How hard boiled is this? 'Cause that was one of the best parts of this absurd 5-issue series, was the red boil that jumped from one forehead to the next and took over and was the crime leader of the gang, the hard boil gang.
I love that so much.
That's why we're going to start off with you, Chad. This was your pick this week. You have been talking about this for months, wanting to read this on the show. You wanted J.A. and I specifically to read it because you were curious about what we would think, and we'll get to that in a second. But what did you think ultimately of this series?
It's not Shakespeare. I got to give this 3 out of 4 boils. I was not upset that I got this one. I thought it was entertaining. I thought all the critiques of it not being noir enough, I can definitely see that. All that stuff tracks. In my head, the Spider-Man outweighed the noir, and I enjoyed, getting back to Erik Larsen's storytelling, where it's just so wild and wacky and out there sometimes, and the ideas are so big and bombastic that I don't mind if they don't always land, because I'm just having so much fun along the way. And it was quick. It was 5 issues in, 5 issues out. I'm ready for that Amazon Prime series. So bring me more Nick Cage, Spider-Man Noir. 3 out of 4 boils.
Okay. I'm going to go next. I'm going to give it a little bit lower of a rating at 2.5 boils. I got to agree with some of what folks said, that it wasn't, I'm not going to say dark enough, but it wasn't serious enough. Like, I was expecting something a little bit more detective-y, more like, again, what you would get in a traditional Philip Marlowe or Sam Spade story, where like the mystery of actually who killed George Stacy was the driving plot versus fighting a bunch of Nazis that ended up being cockroaches. Again, I like that. There's a place for those kind of stories. If you want to set Spider-Man in the 30s and have him fight Nazis and weird science fiction-y kind of mad scientists building monsters in a laboratory, that's great. but the noir parts felt shoehorned in. It was like he wasn't interested in telling a mystery. He was interested in telling a swashbuckling adventure story, which was fine, but don't start it off with a mystery. Like, don't start it off with the dame walking in and giving you a case to solve, and you solve it within, like, I don't know, 10 pages after that. And then you're like, the mystery is how you're going to tell this girl? Shrugs. There were a couple really good things, though, I do want to kind of point out. I've gone on Last Comic Shop before saying that I don't really traditionally like when Peter Parker and Mary Jane are split up in these books, but I kind of like the way they handled it in this one. I think Erik Larsen did a good job of showing that, like, they've got, like, this interesting dynamic, this still the Sam Diane. Will they get back together? Will they be? But it didn't seem like it was shoved in your face that they were apart. They were a little bit wistful and like, yeah, we used to date. I just thought it was handled nicely. I really did. Like, I was a big fan of everything. I liked Aunt May in this. But I will say now, does anybody else feel anytime that Peter Parker has a relationship now with Gwen Stacy, it just feels creepy and icky and gross? I get it that, like, she was his original love, but now Gwen Stacy's like a teenage superhero and he's like supposed to be in his, I don't know, 30s. It just, I would have preferred
but it's the 30s, man.
Hardy.
Come on. They were totally fine in the 30s.
And they were still age appropriate in the 30s.
There's going to be another woman. It's Felicia Hardy. Like, Felicia Hardy and Mary Jane. They're like the two girls nowadays. Like that. And you could have had a better femme fatale with Felicia Hardy. Maybe they didn't want that, but
they used that in the other series.
Yeah, I get it. 2.5. It was a page turner. I enjoyed it the whole way through. John.
I think I'm going to do the same. I think I'm going to do 2.5. I wanted it to be a little more noir and a little less Spider-Man, but overall the story was fun. There were some really ridiculous moments that made it very Erik Larsen, which is what I was looking for. Hardboil being one of them. The weird ghost trapster guy. The plasma guy, whereas you could see his brain even though he's plasma, was kind of interesting. And it's always good for when there's a book where people are getting beat up because they're Nazis. Because, you know, screw fascism. There were just some things that I'm just like, that was an interesting choice. But overall, I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was great, but I think it was a pretty average Spider-Man book.
Yeah, I wish they would have sort of leaned into the noir aspects a little bit more. Pull out that Gwen Stacy's father plot point. If it was a true noir story, that would have gone 5 issues. He would have found out in issue 5 that he had killed him. He would have had to tell Gwen Stacy that, and she would have left him, because that's a true noir story. Noirs don't have happy endings. If you have a smile on your face at the end of the movie or at the end of the book, then it's not really a noir book, is it? Because in noir, it's always raining, it's always dark, and you leave with less than you started out with, usually, if you're the detective or the protagonist. So that's what I thought we were getting. This felt more like a modern take on the Golden Age, Rocketeer-esque 1940s craziness. And maybe I just wasn't in the right mindset. I thought some of the plot points were a bit fantastical, but I guess that's Erik Larsen for you. It's 2. It's a 2 for me. You can take it or leave it. Don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but it's 5 issues. I don't know why they had to have a fill-in artist.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Modern Marvel does that a lot.
They needed to have that fill-in artist to draw the bombshell.
That is true.
But,
maybe the other artist was like, I'm not drawing him and her in that tub. No, get somebody else to draw that scene.
That's too smutty for me. One thing that we don't hate on the Last Comic Shop is comic books, and we're going to give you more with recommendations. Yes, this is the time of every single show where we give you other comic books in addition to Spider-Man Noir Volume 3. That's what they call this. It's not out in trade yet, but it should be in trade soon. But otherwise, try to find it in its single issues at your local comic book shop, and maybe you can find those other Spider-Man Noir books that maybe happened previously. Maybe those will be some recommendations. We'll see. We're starting off with Chad Smith. So, Chad, what do you got for us this week?
There you go. All right. So you guys were upset that this book was not genre-y enough for a genre. Boy, do I got something for you. So I'm going to pick another 5-issue miniseries. This is from a friend of the show, Kyle Starks. It's called Wrestle Heist. All right. And if you know what the Montreal Screwjob is, or if the words after mag mean anything to you, you need to go out and pick up Wrestle Heist. The book itself, there's the story, and then in the back they have like ads like you would see in those old after mags, the old wrestling magazines, for buy this tape of all suplexes. Then the next issue, it's all power bombs, and he does surveys and stuff with other comic professionals and about their favorite wrestling matches and things. The background to this is just as fun as the story. But the story follows Sterling Steele. He's the top heel who never held the world championship. He's on his way out the door to the competition, getting ready for his last match, when the promoter, whose name is Buddy Hansen, who is Vince McMahon wearing Paulie Dangerously's body, he gives Steele's opponent the Gladiator thumbs down, and his opponent breaks his neck in the ring. So no more competition, no more wrestling, period. Fast forward 1 year later, and Steele decides he is going to rob the biggest wrestling event of the year to get back at Buddy Hansen. So he teams up with Gravedigger. Think Undertaker cross with Papa Shango. There's Beowulf, who has all the incoherence of the Ultimate Warrior, who lost a leg at one point from a motorcycle accident. There's Ochabola, the Luchador champ, who when he joined Buddy Hansen's promotion, he made him wrestle as Bebe Fuerte, the world's strongest lucha baby, just to embarrass him. But it's all these wrestling tropes smashed together, and the way that Kyle Starks does things, if you're familiar with Kyle Starks, this is him at his best. And really, I just need people to buy this book so that we can get more. He wrote in one of the letter columns in the back, he's like, I have another story, but this didn't sell great. So I'm trying to do my part, Kyle Starks. Get out there, snag some Wrestle Heists. You won't regret it.
I think I might have to pick that up just for Lucha Baby. I don't know,
Bebe Fuerte.
Bebe Fuerte.
Why does he wear a sombrero sometimes? Nobody knows.
Anyways, my recommendation this week harkens back to a recommendation we had on a previous podcast where I talked about a couple issues of Kazar that were drawn by one of my favorite artists, Barry Windsor Smith. Well, at the time, I told you that you could find those particular issues of Kazar in some Marvel Masterworks. But now, since that show has aired, there's actually been a collection put out by Fantagraphics, which is going to be my recommendation this week. It's called Back to the Savage Land. It is Barry Windsor Smith, the Marvel Years Volume 1. So they're going to put out more of these volumes of Barry Windsor Smith's works at Marvel over the next couple of years. But they're these beautiful hardback books, and they're just amazing. Again, it jumps around a lot. You get a smorgasbord of Marvel characters, everybody from Kazar to Nick Fury to the Avengers. And to be honest, that's really one of the major reasons I love this book, is because I forgot that Barry Windsor Smith did art on 2 really good issues of early Avengers. Those issues are 66 and 67. Now, 66 is an awesome issue of the Avengers because it's the first appearance of Adamantium. Thor's trying to smash it and whatever, and they're like, what is this? And everybody's even talking like, oh, is vibranium better than adamantium? And from there, Vision has to steal the adamantium so that he can help Ultron build his first adamantium body as Ultron number 6. And so that spills into the next issue where the Avengers fight an adamantium-powered Ultron for the first time. Really, really great stories. But the artwork from Barry Windsor Smith, this full-page splash, which should be a cover, when Vision is trying to steal the adamantium from a bunch of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents with this heading, did you ever walk through something that isn't? It's just amazing. The most 60th drawing you ever want to see of the Vision. Again, if you like Barry Windsor Smith, if you love his art like I do, go pick up Back to the Savage Land, the Barry Windsor Smith Years at Marvel, Volume 1. You won't regret it. Jay!
Yeah, I'm going to recommend something on the Noir tip, and this came out in 2001 and then was reprinted in 2011 in DC Comics Presents, and that is Batman Gotham Noir by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. This takes place in Elseworlds, of course, 1949 Gotham, and is told through the character of James Gordon, a hard-boiled alcoholic private dick / cop who's out there wade through this massive conspiracy that involves a corrupt mayor's office and connections to Gotham's organized crime, all surrounding the death of a beautiful woman. And there's this weird bat-like creature thing in the shadows. There's femme fatale at the kitty cat club in a slinky black dress named Selena Kyle. Jack Napier, this crazed dude with some serious need of dental work, shows up. And it is everything that I wanted the Spider-Man book to be and more. It's told by crime noir experts Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips.
It's awesome artwork. Put that on a t-shirt. Any case, John, why don't you wrap us up here?
My recommendation is from Image Comics. It's The Darkness. They've brought it back, and Jackie is kicking all kinds of ass in it. And it is probably a little more streamlined than the original one. So if you don't want to have to read whatever, how many issues it was, like 200 issues or whatever, it's very much more streamlined. A lot like how they've been doing Witchblade this time around. And I've been loving every second of it. I was waiting for it as soon as Witchblade got re-announced, and to see everything come in. They just did an awesome one-shot where it's Darkness and Angelus, and it's actually Jackie's dad who's the Darkness in that one. So it's a very good stepping stone into it. You don't need to really know a lot, but if you remember the old video game from like the 2000s and the 90s, it's that same character being all kinds of dark and crazy, and I love it.
Very cool. As a character I've not read a lot of comic books about. So I like the fact that you can just jump straight in.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably read the first 2 issues so you really kind of understand what's going on. And if you want to read some of the Witchblade, like just the synopsis of the Witchblade itself, because Darkness did come out of the Witchblade universe originally, so this is like a family curse type thing versus the Witchblade being an amulet. So it's kind of crazy, and the craziest part about anyone who has the Darkness entity in them is as soon as they have sex while they are the host of the Darkness, they die. So you become ultimately celibate, or you're going to be dead. You can't die unless you have sex. That's it. So
yeah, I don't know how to transition from that, but make sure that you listen to more Last Comic Shop every single week by rate, reviewing, and subscribing over at www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com. That's right. Again, all this week out on our socials, and you can go into our back catalog and listen to these past episodes. We've done a tremendous amount of interviews from the con floor over there at Three Rivers Con with folks like Ron Threns, with folks like Pat Olive, Tom Scioli. We did Trish Forstner, P. Craig Russell we talked to, Wayne Foucher we talked to. So make sure that you're checking out some of those past interviews as well as other ones as we lead up to Three Rivers Con this weekend. John, real quickly, why don't you give everybody the dates and where they can buy tickets for this event?
Sure. June 6th, 7th, 2026, down at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center in downtown Pittsburgh. You can go to threeriverscomiccon.com and just choose tickets, choose who's coming, check out the beer, all that stuff's going to be on there. Ticket pricing's on there. You can buy them on there, or you can buy them at the door. Remember, if you're a military ID holder, a valid military ID holder, you can get a discount at the door. And you can follow us at number 3 Rivers Comic Con.
All right. And while we might be the Last Comic Shop podcast, we don't want to be the last comic shop. So get out there and support your local comic shops, support your local comic cons. Go out there and find some of those awesome books that we talked about today, whether it was Spider-Man Noir or Wrestle Heist by Kyle Starks or Back to the Savage Land from the Marvel Creator Collection, Volume 1, Barry Windsor Smith. Batman Gotham Noir could be waiting for you, or that new Image Darkness reboot. All of that and more potentially waits for you there. And then you can circle back to our website, www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com, where you can find links to our socials like Blue Sky on YouTube, and you can find ways to get to our merch store. And Jay, what noir-y things do we have waiting in our merch store this week?
We've got trench coats and fedora hats.
Ooh,
and
I love a good hat.
Wool pants that belt up around the navel area. They're pleated.
Not as crazy about that. You know, we need to get the sock garters. Those are like a 1930s thing.
What we need are two-tone shoes that replace spats of the 1920s.
Oh, like the two-tone wingtips? The wingtips?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
There you go. Yes, some last comic shop wingtips. Make sure that you're styling and profiling when you're shooting your thugs made up of giant cockroaches. That was still the weirdest thing. Come on. The whole body being made of cockroaches.
Was it weirder than the boil? It's not weirder than the boil.
It was weirder than the boil.
It is weirder than the boil. The boil's very Larson.
Which cockroach was talking? Like, which one was it?
Right.
Were they all talking? Was there just one? Was there one made cockroach and then the rest were just silent?
There's one with a little tiny microphone like Mr. Mind from Shazam.
Why didn't anybody hear the chirpings? And cockroaches smell. Why didn't anybody notice the smell of all those cockroaches?
Were they a hive mind of cockroaches?
Lots of questions, Erik Larsen. We need answers around your cockroach-based villains. That's what we need. But one thing that we're hoping that we answer the question for you is where to get your comic book supplies. Chad, where's the best place people could get their comic book supplies every single week?
Well, we would encourage you to go to bcwsupplies.com where you can enter the promo code LCSPOD for a 10% discount on checkout. That will give you that discount. It will help the show and will get you some awesome comic supplies shipped right to your door. That's bcwsupplies.com.
That's right. Make sure that you're supporting the show, grabbing some stuff, and make sure you're getting out to Three Rivers Con if you are in the Pittsburgh area. Again, 6th and 7th, lots of comic books to buy, lots of comic book art to get, lots of beer to drink. Not as much cake. I think John ate all that, but we thank him for being on this week's show. Until next week. When we have Masters of the Universe, that's right, the original 3-issue miniseries put out by DC Comic Books, written by Paul Kupperberg, I believe. I had all those issues when I was like 4 or 5 or something. I don't know. I was young and I had those. But I'm going to make all the guys read them as well as watch the Masters of the Universe movie. Stick around for that. Until then, I was the host and host, Andy Larson. I'm joined by Jay Scott, Chad Smith, and the wonderful Jon Engel from New Dimension Comics. And we hope that you stay safe. Stay conning. That's right. Go out to a con, find yourself some stuff, and remember, damn right they were made out of cockroaches, because Nazis and cockroaches suck.
Comic Shop Podcast was a 2026 Black Angus production.